Good morning, students. In my previous video, I was talking about the chapter Rattrap from Flamingo book. Continuing with that chapter, I'm going to start line by line explanation. But before that, I would like to say something about what I have done in my previous video and what is the outline of the story. Okay, the rat trap. From the title you can understand this is about a rat trap, and we have the title rat and trap. Okay, so the story, the rat trap, is a story about a rat trap seller who leads a very poor life, and his earnings are very low, and he is begging to make both ends meet, and he is all alone in this world, and he is leading a miserable life. And for that, in his few times or in his free time, he starts knitting up some kinds of thoughts. Huh? So whenever we are free, there are the thoughts are coming in our mind, and there is no any handling, and we cannot handle that thoughts because it's starting coming and meeting up in our mind. So same happened with this rat trap seller. So once this thoughts is about what are the thoughts that it is coming in his mind. That is, the thought is about supposing the whole world as a big rat trap, because he is a rat trap seller. So that is why he is comparing the rat trap with the world, and the whole world is also a rat trap. And he's in his views, the world offers us various types of baits means temptations, right, in the form of comforts, or you can say the pleasures of life. And in return, what the world does, that the world trap us, and that is he is calling that the rat trap of the world. And that leads us to the types of miseries, and because of that temptation we followed by the miseries of the world. Okay, so now these are the thoughts that he was thinking while he was free at the seller at the shop. Okay, now every night the paddler, or you can say the rat trap seller, he is poor, and he was searching for the shelter, and he has no home. So one evening, every day whenever he was searching for a shelter or a home, nobody is giving him a shelter. But on one day or one evening, you can say, he was offered a shelter by an old crofter, right? And he is very genuine and very happy and kind person, and he was living all alone with him. His wife is not there. So next morning, he stole the crofter's money, okay, which is earned by selling the cow's milk of the crofter. So that you can say that is the all earning of the crofter, and which was stolen by the our rat trap seller. And that we stopped our story, and here we'll start the line by line explanation. Okay, so I told you in the story that the next day both men got up in a okay, thought should stay in a bed. Okay, so we have done this. So both thereupon each went his own way. Now Proctor went to his work for cow milk, and the rat trap also went away. But half an hour later, the rat trap peddler stood again before the door. Okay, and half an hour ke baad, again he stood to the door. He did not try to get in. However, he only went up to the window, smashed the pan, stuck in his hand, and got hold of the pouch with the 30 kroner. Kroner, I told you, this is the currency that he got, that the pouch which he was talking about, the crofter, which was hanged on a window pane. So he got it, and hold of the pouch with the 30 kroner. कितना था? 30 kroner का जो pouch था, money था. He took the money and thrust it into his own pocket and put it in his own pocket. Then he hung the leather pouch very carefully back in its place and went away. So he put it back and went away. As he walked along with the money in his pocket, he felt quite pleased with his smartness. Now here he was thinking about that how smart I am, that I got the money very easily. Okay, now he was thinking like this. He realized, of course, that at first he dared not continue on the public highway. Now, when he was going from out from away from this home, so he would not dare, means he is not daring to continue walk or to walk on a public highway. Okay, so there was a public highway. So he was thinking that, and he was not daring to walk on a public highway. But why he was not walking on a public highway, but must turn off the road. Okay, I have to take a turn of the road into the woods, otherwise he will be caught. That's why he took the road or a turn to the road of a woods, or you can say the forest. During the first hours, this caused him no difficulty. When he started walking in the forest, or you can say that in the woods, it was not difficult for him. Later in a day, it becomes worse. When he went inside the woods or forest deep and deep, the forest is very deep, and it was worse because he was not knowing the exact map, or you can say the exact road of the forest. He tried to be sure to walk in a definite direction, but the path twisted back and forth so strangely. Now he was trying so much that he cannot be for a definite, means particular direction. But all the time he was the paths were twisted, and he will be back at the same time, back and forth so strangely. So घूम फिर के वापस वो वहीं आ जाता था. He started thinking or the walking on a definite direction, but the paths twisted back and forth too strangely. I walked and walked without coming to the end of the woods. Okay, so there is no end of the wood or a forest. He was walking and walking. Finally, he realized that he had only been walking around in the same part of the forest. Now he come to know that I am only walking into the deep forest all around, means going around, round and round, and he is not getting the way out of the forest. All at once he recalled his thought about the world. I told you that whenever he got free, he was starting meeting the thought. And again, right now when he was free, that he stopped walking, and again thought struck his mind and about the world. Now he was again talking about the world and the rat trap. I told you that he was thinking that the whole world is like a rat trap. Now his own turn had come. Now he was thinking that I was talking about other people, that this person and this fellow is going to be in a rat trap of the world. Now, right now he is thinking that I am the only one who who was in a world rat trap. Okay. Now this is my turn. Now that this is my turn. Now I am in a world's rat trap. He had felt himself be fooled by a bait and had been caught. Now he himself be thinking that I am so fooled that I was tempted and by the world's rat trap and been caught, and I was caught in a world's rat trap. The whole forest. Now here, which is his rat trap, the whole forest. Now he is trapped in the whole forest, which is trunks and branches. Okay, जो branches and trunks है उसमें, its thickets and fallen logs. Now thickets means a dense group of bushes, right? So there are so much bushes and fallen logs. Fallen logs भी वहाँ पे था. So the whole world is just like a, forest is just like a world rat trap for this peddler, or you can say the rat trap seller, closed in upon him like a implantable prison, from which he could not from which he could never escape. Impenetrable means impossible. Impassable matlab he is in a trap, or you can say in a prison from which he could not escape, or which is cannot be impassable, which cannot he cannot pass it anyway. Okay, going further, it was late in December. Darkness was already descended over the forest. Now we know that when there is a winter season, you can see that we have a that darkness. We got a darkness very early. Okay, so the darkness was already descending over the forest, and now the forest is going to dark very soon. This increased the danger and increased also his gloom and despair. Now when we are that the paddler is all alone in this dark forest, so that darkness increased the danger and also his gloom and despair. Despair means hopelessness. Now that is started coming in his mind. Okay, finally, he saw no way out, and he sank down on the ground, tired to death, thinking that his last moment had come. Now, finally, he had no way out because he was going all and round in the forest. So he was thinking that I didn't get any way out, and he was very tired. So he sank down on the ground and tired to death because he was not getting anything. And I told you that because of poverty, his physical strength is very low. Sorry, and tired to death, thinking that this was last moment had come, and he was thinking that this is my end, and I'm going to die very soon, and this is my last moment. But just as he laid his head on the ground, he heard a sound, a hard, regular thumping. And when he tried to put, or when he laid his head on the ground, he suddenly heard one sound. And what is that sound? The sound of regular thumping. Thumping means thumping. The sound of some heavy object beating. Beating का जो sound आता है, thumping, when you stuck very heavy thing on a ground, and that sound comes, and he heard that sound. There was no doubt as to what that was, and he was not no doubt that what the voice was that. He raised himself, and he thinking that those are the hammer stocks from an iron mill. And he come to know that there is no doubt that he come to know that this is the sound came from the hammer stock and from an iron mill. He thought there must be people nearby, and he was thinking that there must be people around me near me. He summoned all his strength. Summoned means gathered all his strength, got up, and staggered in the direction of the sound. Staggered means to walk with difficulty, because I told you that he is very weak, very tired to death. So he was staggered. Staggered means to walk difficulty here and there with the help of the trunks and branches. He walked toward the direction of the sound. Ramsojo iron works, which are now closed down, were not so long a large plant with smelter, rolling mill, and forge. Now he was thinking about that there was one mill, and its name is Ramsjo Iron Work, which are now closed down, were not so long ago. So before long ago, it was closed, a large plant with smelter. Smelter means a machine in which matter is smelted to form into a shape. जो उसको शेप में लाने के लिए जो मशीन का यूज करवाता है करते हैं वो. And rolling means rolling mill, machine to roll matter into sheets. Okay, and forge means a shop where metal is heated. Now he was thinking about this forge or iron work, iron mill. So but he was thinking that it was closed long ago. In the summertime, long lines of heavy loaded barges and scows slide down the canal, which lead to a large inland lake. And in the winter time, the roads near the mill were black from all the coal dust which sifted down from the big charcoal crates. Now here he was talking about that what is the scenario of this mill and what happened in the summertime. Okay, what happened in the summertime? Lines of heavily loaded barges. Barges means a long flat bottom boat for carrying freight on canals and rivers. जो कैनल्स पर से जो बोट लेके जाती है that is which is carrying heavy loads. Okay, so that is, and scow. Scow means a flat bottom boat used for ट्रांसपोर्टिंग कार्गो टू एंड फ्रॉम शिप्स इन हार्बर. छोटी और बड़ी जो दोनों बार्जेस है यहाँ से लेके बिग शिप में और यू कैसे बोट में लेके जाते हैं. स्लीड डाउन द कैनल which lead to a large inland lake, and in the winter time the roads near the mill were black from all. Okay, and because of this the lake is inland. Because of that coal the lake is covered, and in winter time what happened, the roads near the mill were black, and because of this coal the roads near that mill were black from all the coal dust, because of the coal dust which is coming out from the mill, and from this which sifted down from the sifted means descended lightly or sparsely as if sprinkled from a sieve, which sifted down from the big charcoal crates. So वो वहां से big charcoal crates में से shift हो जाता था because of this on a lake. So पूरा रास्ता बंद हो जाता है. So in a winter that is coal, dust and charcoal crates. During one of the long dark evening just before Christmas, the master smith and his helper sat in the dark forge near the furnace waiting for a big iron which has been put in the fire to be ready to put on the anvil. Okay. Okay. Now here anvil means a heavy iron block with a flat top and concave slide. Now here he was talking about master smith on Christmas Day and his helper. They were sitting here the dark forge which we were talking about, and which is full of because of winter the road is blocked, and because of this coal dust and charcoal crates near the furnace waiting for a big iron. Now they are waiting for a big iron which had been put in the fire. So fire में लगाने के लिए they are waiting for that to be ready to put on the anvil. Anvil मैंने बोला a heavy iron block with a flat top and concave slide. Every now and then one of them got up to stir the glowing mass with a long iron bar, returning in a few moments, dripping with perspiration, perspiration, though as was the custom. He wore nothing but a long shirt and a pair of wooden shoes. Now what they are doing? They are every now and then, means time to time, one of them means maybe the master or his helper, returning in a few moments, they stir the glowing mass, जो mass था glowing mass, और with a long iron bar, जो long iron bar था उसको उसमें से थोड़ा movement करवाते थे, and returning in a moment so that the fire get the so the iron get the fire, and was a few moments dripping the perspiration. Perspiration means sweat. When the people are working in a furnace or in an iron mill, so they have the sweating. Okay, so that is the sweating. Dripping means dripping the sweating. The drops are coming from their body because of the furnace. Though as was the custom, he wore nothing but a long shirt, a pair of wooden shoes. So this was the custom that they are wearing nothing. They are only wearing a long shirt, एक पूरा long shirt पहनते थे, and a pair of wooden shoes so that they can handle the fire in a furnace. All the time there were many sounds to be heard in the forest, and there are so many sounds, different sounds you can hear in the mill, or you can say the forest. The being bellows ground and the burning coal cracks. Now bellows means bellows ka groan ka sound, then cracks, cracked, right? Coal का जो cracked sound आता है वो, the fireball sold charcoal into a mouth of the furnace with a great deal of clatter. Okay, now sold means move. So the fire boy जो बैठता है, जो sound जो उसने, that he was wearing long shirt and wooden shoes, he was going to move charcoal in a mouth. Mouth means that is the jaws of the furnace, the main one head, you can say the mouth of that mill furnace, उसका फर्नेस से वहां पे क्लैटर मीन्स बैंग, उसको जाके हिलाते हैं, एंड दे आर ट्राइंग टू मूव एंड मेकिंग दैट साउंड. सो दैट साउंड आर आल्सो कमिंग. आउटसाइड रोड द वाटरफॉल, और बाहर वाटरफॉल का एक साउंड आता है, एंड अ शार्प नॉर्थ विंड, एंड शार्प नॉर्थ विंड that is also white means beaten with a whip here to hit something, right? So hitting the rain अगेंस्ट द ब्रिक टिल रोड, और रूफ पर जो विंड आती है उसका भी, और उस पर जो रेन आती है, दैट इज द ड्रॉपिंग एंड ड्रॉपलेट ऑफ दैट रेन आल्सो मेक द साउंड व्हेन इट केम टू द रूफ ऑफ द ब्रिक का जो रूफ होता है उस पे पड़ता है. सो देयर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ साउंड्स, many sounds to be heard in the forest. It was probably an account of all this noise that the blacksmith did not notice that a man had opened the gate and entered the forge until he stood close up to the furnace. Now, there are so much sounds are coming, so nobody has noticed about the noise. Which noise? The blacksmith. Blacksmith did not notice. Blacksmith, that is who is working in the iron mill, did not notice that a man means we are talking about the Rattrap seller or peddler, who had opened the gate and entered the forge, or you can say the mill. Until, कब तक उनको नहीं पता चला? Until he stood close up to the furnace. When he came too close to the furnace, and with the light of the fire, the blacksmith comes to know that someone entered into the forge. Till then, he was not knowing that someone opened the door and entered into the forge. Surely, it was nothing unusual for a poor vagabond without any better shelter for the night to be attracted to the forge by the glow of light which escaped through the sooty panes, and to come into the warm themselves in front of the fire. Okay. Now here blacksmith was saying that surely this is the thing, that this is unusual, this is not unusual, and this is usual for poor vagabond. Vagabonds means poor wanderer. So those who are not find any shelter at night, they are attracted by the light or by the glow of light of the furnace and sooty panes, and to come in the warm themselves, so that they come in the mill to warm themselves in a winter night near the fire. Bellows means air. Okay. The blacksmith glanced only casually and indifferently at the intruder. Intruder means our Rattrap seller. So he was glanced, or you can say that have a look on this intruder. He looked the way people of his type usually did. So he was looking the way his type of people were looking, with a long beard, dirty, ragged, and with a bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. Now, how was the look of this rat trap seller? So he had a long beard, dirty clothes, ragged, and bunch of rat traps dangling on his chest. So he had a glance. The blacksmith glanced only to this rat trap seller. He asked permission to stay, And the master blacksmith nodded a haughty consent without honoring him with a single word. Now, the paddler was asking for the permission to stay for a night. So, blacksmith nodded heartily. Heartily means arrogantly, without honoring him or without saying any single word. He said that you can stay here. He was nodding his head. The tramp did not say anything either. He had not come there to talk, but only to warm himself and sleep. Now, the tramp means vagabond or wanderer. So, that is our paddler. He did not want any honor and any consent from the blacksmith. What he wants only to warm himself and sleep. In those days, the Rasmajo iron mill was owned by a very prominent iron masters. Okay, now this mill was owned by the iron master, and whose greatest ambition was to ship out good iron into the market, and whose ambition is to have a good iron to ship into the market. So their quality is very good. He doesn't compromise with the quality of the iron. So he was very prominent or very famous for iron. He watched both night and day to see that the work was done as well as possible. And at this very moment, he came into the forge on one of his night rounds of inspections. Now he was very clear about his mastery, and that is why he watched day and night and to see that how the workers were doing their work. And this is the time when he came to inspect or came for one round to see that how the work is going on. And that moment that the paddler entered into the forge. Naturally, the first thing he saw was the tall ragamuffin who had eased his way so close to the furnace that the steam rose from his wet rags. Now, naturally, we come to know this is the December season, and it is very cold. So he was sitting ragamuffin. Ragamuffin means a person in rags, right? The dust beans or stinking thing, who had eased his way so close to the furnace that he was sitting very close to the furnace that the steams rose from his wet rags. उसका जो wet rags था, rags means the clothes, worn clothes. उसमें से the steams are coming from the his wet rags. The ironmaster did not follow the example of the blacksmith, who had hardly they designed to look at the stranger. He walked, okay. Now the iron master who is working near the furnace, I told you that how they are working. Two helpers were there, and they are moving that the coals and charcoals with the long bar, iron bar. So when they were doing like this, one of the iron master who had hardly do something that one considered to be beneath one's dignity. Okay, to look at the stranger. Okay, so without asking blacksmith, the one iron master looked at the stranger. Stranger means our paddler. He walked close to him. That iron master went close to the paddler and looked in over him very carefully, and he was watching, or you can say that he was staring carefully to that paddler. And then tore off his slouch. Slouch means hat, bent on one side of the head. Slouch had to get a better view of him because he was wearing one hat which is bent, so nobody was watching or can see the face of his. But one iron master went there, and he would get better or tore off, means to put off that hat, and so that he can have look of who is this person and can see the face of that vagabond. But of course it is you, Nil Olov, he said. how are you? Do look. Okay, now again he was thinking that he was misunderstanding that he was Nils Olof, right? The man with rat trap had never before seen the Iron Master as Ramustu and did not even know what his name was. Now, right now, the Iron Master was not knowing, sorry, the man with the rat trap had never before seen the Iron Master, that the our now the man with the rat trap, that he had never seen about that who's that man was, and did not even know what is his name was. But it occurred to him that if the fine gentleman thought he was an old acquaintance, he might perhaps throw him a couple of kroners. Therefore, he did not want to undeceive him at a glance. Now, he was thinking that the fine gentleman, the iron master, may be a good acquaintance, means of associate of this blacksmith. So he might perhaps throw him a couple of kroner. So he maybe give some couple of kroner or currency. Therefore, he did not want to undeceive. Undeceive means to tell someone that his belief is mistaken. Now, what is his belief? He was thinking that he is a Niels Olof, but if in reality that he is not a Niels Olof, he is a Rattrap seller. So he would like to he didn't like to undeceive him all at once. Yes, God knows things have gone downhill with me. Now downhill means worse. Now I don't know what happened with me. Everything had gone downhill means worst with me. What he is saying that about the rat trap seller is saying. You should not have resigned from regiment, said the iron master. That was the mistake. If only I had still been in the service at the time, it never would have happened. Well, now, of course, you will come home with me. Now, here he was thinking about this Niels Olof, who is with him in regiment. Regiment means a unit in the army or in defense forces. So, right now, this Iron Master was thinking that he is a Neil Olof, and he was thinking that Neil Olof has given the resign, and that is why he is thinking that he is telling that you should not give resign. That was the biggest mistake of yours. And if only I had still been in the service at that time, it never would have happened. And that time, if I was with you, I'll never let you go and to give resign. Well, now of course you will come home with me. And now you please come with me. There is no need to stay here. To go along up to the manor. Manor means manor, a large country house. Be received by the honor like a old regimental comrade. That, however, did not please the tramp. Now he was going along with this iron master who was also thinking that or undeceived that he was the friend or comrade. Comrade means fellow soldier. He was thinking that he was his regiment comrade, fellow soldier. So he got a very good and warm receiving or a warm welcome at his manor house. Manor means large country house. However, did not please the tramp, but had the tramp means the wanderer, or you can say the Rattrap seller was not pleased with this warm welcome. Okay, so please prepare some notes on this question answer and read it again to understand it. We'll do it in our next video. Thank you so much.